Hello, my name is Diane Santuri, and I'd like to welcome you to my presentation that is focused around educational blogs. This presentation will focus on analyzing and critiquing three educational blogs having to do with educational technology. So for the agenda for today's presentation, I'll be focusing on three educational technology blogs. I'll be critiquing and analyzing them for content, and also authority, as well as design. And I will also be concluding with my final thoughts on reviewing each of these blogs. So the way that I'll be critiquing these blogs will be looking at the authority of the content creator, who the author is, do they have expertise in the area, and so forth. I'll also be looking at the design in terms of the UI UX interface and the ease of use for finding content, and also looking at the content itself in terms of how valid the resources are that are provided, as well as the links and multi-modalities that will be built into those blogs for more intensive purposes, and also looking at how frequently and consistently updates are being made to the site for currency. So, why should we consider a blog in the first place? Well, I wanted just to tie this to some academic research regarding the fact that, blogs are also being considered a medium for publishing. So, people are looking to blogs for content in terms of information, and it's being looked at more academically. The very first blog that I'm going to talk about is the Free Technology for Teachers blog. This is authored by Richard Byrne. He was a former educator, a consultant on EdTech. His blog has actually did win quite a few awards, EduBlog awards. And I'm assuming he created the blog from EduBlog, so he was awarded that for his content. And he has more than 60,000 subscribers. It could be more than that at this point, but that's something that was noted. He has a very large following in areas such as YouTube and other social medias as well. And within his blog, which is now kind of tied into classwork.com, you have the ability to purchase subscriptions or try for 30 days this platform. Within the platform itself, however, in the area of the home tab, there is some content having to do with different things all about education. In this instance, the article written on October 23rd, 2024 was on neurodiverse students, which is such a very important theme that we're covering now with equity and inclusion. So again, it's very current and up to date. The website is Free Tech for Teachers, and it's .classwork.com. I had the opportunity to meet Richard at one point at a conference that I attended. It was an ed tech conference, and he presented and has presented at many conferences in the past, and he was very informative. So I find that his blog was a welcomed resource for me, and I have used it in the past. He has switched it over a little bit with classwork.com, but it was something that I had used very frequently. Another blog that I want to focus on was one called Class Tech Tips blog. And I did go to FeedSpot to take a look at some of the top blogs that are out there, and these were at the top. Dr. Monica Burns has a blog site called classtechtips.com. Dr. Monica has written over 100 blogs. Um, she has an ed tech club with a fee that is built into this blog, which was very interesting because a lot of teachers could actually be part of this. And again, what she's doing is she's having people be able to join these groups so they can learn from one another. Obviously, it's with a fee for that particular endeavor. She offers podcasts, and she does have some free things and some AI resources as well. And she includes some ed tech tools and lessons. And she really does focus on not only just the technology, but also the education part of it, which ties into some of the educational theories as well. So she has ed tech books, resources as well. So quite a few resources. She does have multimodalities, as I mentioned. She does have a podcast as well that's embedded, which is very helpful for people when they want to listen on the go. And the last blog that I want to mention is Cool Cat Teacher. And I had, again, an opportunity to meet this educator at an ISTE conference. And this was a while ago, but she is still keeping up with her blog, as I can see. And she's still working as an educator, and she does a lot of things having to do with different modalities, specifically podcasts. She does a 10-minute teacher podcast. She was one of the top 40 ed tech influencers in 2022. She's won EduBlog Awards for top teaching in 2022 and 2023. And again, she's always very interesting to either listen to or read. So for her, she's got a newsletter that's built in that you can subscribe to. She has podcasts. She has some things having to do with ethics. And she does have some content having to do with digital citizenship that she offers as well. And again, her website is coolcatteacher.com. Very informative blog, and she's very up to date with her content. I don't know how she does it, but she's keeping up with things constantly. Also, this is the link to her podcast having to do with things every digital citizen should know, which ties into digital citizenship content. And she also has her own kind of written paper, I guess you could call it, called Future of Education Technology for K through 12, which she was featured in. And it does focus on, can't see it here, but it did focus on the topic of digital citizenship. So all in all, these are very different, you know, designs in terms of the blogs, but they did have a lot of good content in them. So, in my conclusion, each of the blogs did have an immense amount of information for teachers on the topic of ed tech, and they did connect to education as well. They provided links to various types of resources for teachers so that they can continue their learning, whether they're paid for or free. It just depended on the blog itself or what area of the blog you wanted to be able to access. And what was interesting is it did create, as blogs generally do, a culture of learning and the opportunity for, continuing professional development and your journey to lifelong learning, which is really important for educators, as many of us feel like we're in silos sometimes and we're not able to communicate with others. So, and again, I tied this to some research recently on the topic of personal learning networks and how important those are for continued growth and inspiration from other educators. And again, I wanted to mention that these bloggers and authors seem to be very knowledgeable, and they do provide a lot of detail on implementing some specific ed tech that might be fairly new that many of us want to try but don't feel comfortable doing. So, again, they are very, very focused on emerging technology and also very current in their fields. These are my resources, and I hope you enjoyed the presentation.